Let's take a look at how a lawyer would use Education Cloud Business. If I were a lawyer, I would use Education Cloud Business to understand marketing and learn how to better use the tools I already have access to. The real problem with law firm growth. Most law firms don't fail at execution. They fail at understanding what drives growth. They rely on agency they can't evaluate, strategies they don't fully understand, scattered tactics with no clear direction. So growth feels inconsistent, unpredictable, and hard to fix. The system as a solution. This is where Education Cloud changes the model. It's a structured learning system for business growth. Instead of random tutorials, you get in-depth courses, guided learning journeys, focused knowledge through decks, a validation through quizzes, and full control through filters. So instead of guessing what to learn, you follow a system that builds understanding step by step. How a lawyer would actually use it. If I'm running a law firm, I don't log in thinking I need to learn marketing. I log in to understand what's affecting my growth right now. And I use the platform in layers. First, I start with the learning journey. For example, SEO basics. Not random lessons, but structured paths that explain not just what to do, but why it works. Then I can go deeper with specific courses. This is where control matters, because I can filter everything based on topics, SEO, AI, social media, lead generation, and so on. By level, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. By skills, like copywriting, strategic thinking, content creation, format, audio, video, or text. So I don't waste time, I go straight to what's relevant for me. Fast knowledge tags. Because sometimes I don't need a full course, I need clarity fast. That's where tags come in. Short, structured knowledge. I get clear, organized understanding in minutes. Testing understanding with quizzes. Then comes something most platforms ignore, validation. Because it's easy to feel like you understand something, much harder to prove it. With quizzes I can test my knowledge, check my understanding and validate marketing concepts. And immediately see where I'm weak, so learning becomes measurable. But here's where it becomes powerful. This isn't just about content, it's about how the system shapes your thinking. Because over time, you stop guessing, you start recognizing patterns, you understand cause and effect. And once you understand how traffic is generated, how authority is built, how content influences decisions, you stop reacting and you start seeing patterns. Now imagine this at a team level, because you can invite people inside the platform. And that changes everything. Now junior lawyers learn faster, marketing teams align with leadership, everyone understands the same fundamentals. Knowledge is no longer fragmented. Instead of each person figuring things out alone, you create a shared understanding of growth. At that point, this isn't education anymore, it's infrastructure. Because learning is structured, continuous and applied, it compounds. You start seeing how SEO connects to content, how content connects to trust, and how trust connects to conversion. And over time, you don't just run a law firm, you build a system that grows predictably. If I were a lawyer, I wouldn't try to become a marketer, but I would never allow myself to stay unaware. Because today, the firms that grow aren't just the best at law, they are the ones who understand. How clients find them, why clients trust them, and what drives decision before the first call. Let's take a look at how a lawyer would use query SEO. If I were a lawyer, I wouldn't obsess over traffic. I obsess over how I appear in Google. Because legal clients don't browse. They search with urgency. They search when something is already wrong. And in that moment, Google becomes my first impression. Squarely SEO, authority and local visibility. As a lawyer, my biggest asset isn't ads, it's authority. And authority online starts with structure. Google needs to understand who I am, not just my name, but what type of law I practice, where I operate, how experienced I am, and what legal questions I answer. And that's where structured data becomes powerful. If I am a divorce attorney, criminal defense lawyer, corporate law specialist, immigration lawyer, I mark it clearly, so Google can understand my niche. And in law, niche clarity equals trust. This website is just a test website, so you can see how I would use Google SEO if I was a lawyer. So let's assume I'm a criminal defense lawyer in London, and I'm going to set the service schema on this page, which is a service page, and not a home page. The schema headline should closely match the title of your page. For the service type, you have to be specific, so avoid legal services. Instead, use criminal defense representation or something more specific. Specificity increases semantic clarity. For the offers field, don't overthink it. Lawyers don't sell products, so you're structuring consultation, case representation, advisory package. If you don't list public pricing, you can put free consultation with zero price or add a starting consultation fee. That's completely valid. Do not just add one generic legal services schema to your homepage and stop there. Specific beats generic in legal SEO. As a lawyer, I would also use the FAQ schema. This is extremely powerful for legal. Let's say I publish an article, DUI lawyer in London. What happens after a DUI arrest? Instead of just writing content, I structure it. Inside the article, I add the following FAQs, as you can see here. Both the questions and the answers are written over here. And then I set up the FAQ schema for this article. I add FAQs like what happens after a DUI arrest in London, and so on. Questions must be real questions, not why choose our firm, that's marketing. Instead, can I refuse a breath test in the UK? How long does a DUI stay on my record? Should I hire a lawyer after a DUI arrest? Think like a worried client. The answers should be clear, not overly long. Google prefers direct, clear, informational and not promotional. And one more schema that I would use as a lawyer is the author schema. Legal is expertise driven. People don't hire content, they hire credentials. So I reinforce my bar membership, years of practice, jurisdiction, and certification. This strengthens EAT signals. For the job title, be specific. Avoid generic like lawyer. For the same as, this is where authority really strengthens. Add professional validation links such as LinkedIn profile and official Law Society listing. Criminal law is high risk and high trust. Google evaluates, is this person real? Are they licensed? Do they practice in this jurisdiction? Profile schema helps answer those questions structurally, not just visually. Another way I would use Quali SEO as a lawyer will be for local SEO, which is massive for lawyers. Most legal searches are local. Criminal defense lawyer DME, DUI solicitor London, drug offense lawyer London, police station representation London. If you don't dominate locally, nothing else matters. So by using local SEO, I make sure Google clearly see my address, my geo-coordination, my phone number, and my opening hours. For the contact type, if you offer 24/7 representation, you can choose emergency. If you have regular office hours, you can choose customer service. This helps Google Maps ranking and local park visibility, because when someone searches in panic, they don't scroll, they click the top local research. Another way I would use Quali SEO would be for city-specific pages. Then I would optimize each page with Quali's Live Assistant. This captures hyperlocal traffic that competitors often miss. That's how you get noticed exactly when clients are searching, without spending a penny on ads. Another useful feature from Squally SEO is the snippet editor, which is quite powerful. This is where psychology comes in. Lawyers don't need clicks from everyone. They need clicks from serious clients. So I can control how I appear in Google searches results. This changes everything. Click-through rate, the right clients notice you first. Perceive authority, you look professional and credible. Professional tone, serious, clear and trustworthy. Before they even reach your website, they already know they can rely on you. So how does everything come together? I create a page, criminal defense lawyer in London. I optimize it with Live Assistant. I add local SEO schema. I add the service schema. And I craft a compelling snippet. Now my listing looks bigger, looks structured and looks authoritative. So what brings the most value? If I had to rank them as a lawyer, I would say local SEO because legal intent is overwhelmingly local, schema because legal is trust sensitive, and snippet control because higher click-through ratio means more consultations. If I were a lawyer, I wouldn't obsess over traffic numbers. I'd obsess over how I appear in Google. Because in legal, the first impression isn't your office, it isn't your suit, it isn't your handshake, it's your search results. And with Squally SEO is how you can control that moment. Let's take a look at how a lawyer would use Squally Social. Authority on autopilot. Lawyers don't want to go viral. They want to look unshakable, active, local, and authoritative. In a field where a no-comment interview can make or break a case, your digital presence must signal that you are the sharpest mind in the room. That's exactly how you use Squally Social. AI content curation, your intelligence briefing. The biggest pressure in criminal law isn't just winning at the Old Bailey. It's the relentless pace of legal shifts. Clients expect you to know new sentencing council guidelines, or Metropolitan Police policy updates. You don't have time to scour Law Society Gazette or UK Human Rights blog all day, so let the AI assistant curate it. The AI finds an article, and you can simply save it to a post group. The result? You aren't just sharing news, you're providing a legal lifeline that positions you as an expert, not a content creator. Evergreen Recycling, the solicitor on standby. Criminal law questions are timeless because the law is constant. Inside the Hidden Gem post group, I create high-value Know Your Rights posts and drop them into a specific evergreen queue by using Repeat Using AI feature. Some example of timeless content will be the 3 things you never say in a voluntary police interview, your rights to a duty solicitor at Charing Cross police station, how no comment can be used against you in court, or what to do if your home is being searched under the Section 8 warrant. The magic Squally Social Evergreen doesn't just repost. Its AI rewrites the caption every time it cycles back. To a new follower who just got arrested, your post feels like a fresh, timely piece of advice. To you, it's a post you made once in 2024 that is still generating leads in 2026. So if I was a lawyer, the main feature I would use inside Squally Social would be the evergreen recycling with AI rewriting, because your rights never go out of style and AI ensures the message stays fresh. And AI content curation, because staying relevant in London's fast-moving legal landscape is a full-time job. You can never delegate. So my profile always shows expertise, reliability, authority. Even when I'm at trial, even if I'm at the police station, even when I'm focused entirely on my clients. And that's how I would use Squally Social as a lawyer, not to create content, but to compound authority. Let's take a look at how a criminal defense lawyer would use Squally Spy. Not as a research tool, but as intelligence. As Google doesn't reward efforts, it rewards strategy. Squally Spy, seeing what others miss. For a criminal defense lawyer, the biggest online risk isn't competition. It's operating without clarity. Because the firms ranking on page 1, they're not guessing. They're following patterns that already work. Squally Spy makes those patterns visible. Analyzing competitors' keywords. A lawyer using Squally Spy can immediately see which keywords bring competitors their traffic, which pages are ranking for those keywords, what topics dominate the search space and where the gaps are. What this means for you: discover proven traffic opportunities, create content already validated by search demand, approach trending topics from a smarter angle, and intercept traffic before it reaches them. This changes the approach entirely. It's not about copying competitors. It's about identifying opportunities that are already proven. Understanding the content strategy. Squarely Spy also reveals how competitors structure their content. This includes their top-performing pages, the depth of their articles, recurring topics and themes, and content clusters. From this, a lawyer can understand what messaging works in their niche, what topics are overused, what angles are missing. And that's where better content comes from. Not more content, but smarter content. Tracing backlinks and authority. A lawyer can see which domains link to competitors, what content attracts those links, patterns in link building strategy. This opens up very practical actions. Identify relevant legal directories, discover industry publications, finding partnerships or outreach opportunities, create similar link-worthy assets. Instead of random link building, it becomes targeted and informed. Breaking down website structure. With Squarely Spy, a lawyer can analyze complete list of indexed URLs, URL keyword usage pattern, category and silo detection, internal linking clues. This reveals how top-ranking firms build stronger silos, improve internal linking, optimize scroll efficiency, design architecture intentionally, and build topical authority across multiple pages. And once that structure is visible, it can be improved upon, not guessed. What makes Squarely Spy different is not just data, it's the perspective it creates. Instead of isolated metrics, it shows patterns, decisions, strategic direction. So a lawyer isn't just seeing what competitors are doing, they're understanding why it works. You can also use it on your own website. The same analysis can be applied internally. A lawyer can run Squarely Spy on their own website, identify underperforming pages, detect weak content clusters, find untapped keyword opportunities, and improve overall site structure. Most websites have hidden potential. They just don't have visibility into it. This changes that. How it fits into daily practice. Used consistently, this becomes part of decision making. Before creating content, you validate keyword opportunities. Before restructuring pages, you analyze competitors' architecture. Before outreach, you review backlink sources. Before scaling SEO, you identify gaps and priorities. This removes guesswork from every step. So with the help of Squarely Spy, you can see which keywords push them to page 1, where their traffic really comes from, which pages bring in the most visibility, what gaps you can immediately target. Identify inefficiency in the structure, spot content gaps, discover hidden ranking opportunities. Uncover predictive growth insights. Study competitor backlink ecosystem. Discover referring domains. Identify link-worthy content formats. Reverse engineer their website architecture. And build stronger SEO silos. With this kind of insights, the approach changes to analyze, understand, reverse engineer, execute with intention, and move with precision. That's where the advantage appears. When looking at how a criminal defense lawyer would use Scully Spy, it's not about spying for the sake of it. It's about clarity, understanding what drives visibility, seeing what competitors are actually doing, and making decisions based on that reality. Because in a space where trust, authority, and timing matters, strategy isn't optional. It's everything. Let's take a look at how a lawyer would use Email Hero. The real problem in legal marketing. Clients rarely hire immediately. They download the checklist or request a consultation. Then life gets in the way. Court appearances, paperwork, calls. Suddenly, weeks pass, and the lead is cold. Most law firms either forget to follow up or do it inconsistently. Traditional email platforms make it worse. Duplicates, bounced messages, flagged spam, and unpredictable costs. This is why so much legal marketing fails, not due to lack of skills, but no system to nurture it safely, consistently, and efficiently. Even more, most platforms charge per list, not per contact. That means the same subscriber on 5 lists costs you 5 times. Lawyers waste budget on leads that haven't converted yet. The solution: Email Hero. Email Hero changes everything, built to prevent mistakes and pair with AWS SaaS sending. Your emails arrive safely, deliverability improves, and scaling becomes effortless. It's stress-free, safe, and smart marketing. Every email gets delivered, every contact is handled correctly, every campaign avoids costly mistakes. With AWS SaaS sending, deliverability becomes predictable. Domains stay safe, large campaigns scale without headaches. You only pay once per client contract, no matter how many lists they are on. How I'd use it as a criminal defense lawyer. A client downloads a free DUI checklist. Email Hero automatically sends a sequence: educational tips, reminders, and consultation offers. Leads are nurtured without you touching a keyboard. Here's my workflow in practice. Lead capture. Someone downloads a free DUI checklist. After I have made connection between my website and Email Hero, I would set an automated educational sequence inside Email Hero. Automated campaigns allow Email Hero to send structured messages explaining steps, rights, and timelines. I have just created my first email that is going to be sent after 5 minutes. Then I'm going to create another email that is going to be sent 2 days after. And now let's create an end step. We want to create a behavior-based follow-up. We want contacts who engage with the links to get a tailored contact and inactive contacts to get the gentle reminders. For this, we can use different conditions. And because I want to send a particular email for the people who have not opened our previous email, I'm going to enable an action if condition fail, and I'm going to send a specific email. By doing this, you can have consultation reminders, timely nudges to reduce no-shows. Automated segmentation ensures each contact sees the right message based on behavior. Advanced use cases for criminal defense lawyers. Targeted campaigns for specific legal services. Email Hero lets you send emails that are highly relevant to each type of case. Segment your list by case type, DUI, assault, fraud, domestic cases, or corporate criminal matters, and send educational content tailored to their situation. You can even share time-sensitive legal updates, like new DUI law in London, what it means for your case, recent changes in sentencing guidelines. Every email positions you as an authority in your niche. Relationship building. Not every lead is ready to hire immediately. Regular newsletters keep your firm top of mind, sharing legal tips, case studies, or thought leadership content. This strengthens trust and ensures your firm is remembered when the time is right. Post-case engagement. Email Hero doesn't stop when the case closes. Follow-ups can share summaries, ongoing advice, or ethical tips. This helps generate referrals and long-term trust. You can also upsell related services. For example, someone handled a minor charge. Later, you can email about license reinstatement, expungement, or other legal needs. Segmentation and personalization, tags and notes. Email Hero lets you add notes for email lists, as well as Labels for emails. You can personalize emails based on behavior, previous interactions, or legal service type, so every message feels personal and relevant. With Email Hero, you don't just send emails, you nurture leads, build trust, and stay top of mind with potential clients. Every message can be targeted, personalized, and timed to maximize engagement and conversions. Hidden advantages lawyers often miss. Email Hero eliminates the hidden risk of traditional email platforms. One contact, one record means no duplicates, no extra cost. Original plus iteration system means contacts never get the same campaign twice. Delivery Assistant checks every campaign before sending. HTML formatting, spam triggers, link structure, and content code ratio. Combined with AWS SaaS, your emails hit inboxes predictably every time. Smart templates. Reuse content across campaigns without rebuilding. Change logos, headers, and branding without losing content. Automation handles the rest. Behavior-based segmentation. Auto-target leads based on opens, clicks, or inactivity. Combined with AWS SaaS, this means perfectly delivered, hyper-targeted campaigns at scale. Strategic applications for criminal defense practice. Email Hero isn't just sending messages. It's client-generating ecosystem. Educates leads before hiring. You get authority and trust. Reduce no-shows. helps with better client management. Tailor messages by behavior, hyper-relevant content. Integrates with your website. Over time, leads become clients, clients become referrals, and every touch point reinforces your reputation as a reliable, thoughtful lawyer. Email Hero doesn't replace your expertise, it amplifies it. Leads are guided, clients are nurtured, and campaigns are stress-free. For lawyers, it means consultations and fewer missed opportunities. Your knowledge and campaigns finally work as one system, consistently and safely. Let's take a look at how a lawyer would use Next Level Marketing AI. Most lawyers know that they should publish content, but after finishing court, answering client calls, and preparing cases, the thought of posting on LinkedIn gets lost somewhere in the back of the mind. Without a clear strategy, content becomes random, inconsistent, and ineffective. That's why most legal marketing fails, not because lawyers don't care, but because there's no system behind the content. The solution? Next Level Marketing AI. This is where Next Level Marketing AI comes in. It doesn't just tell you what to publish, it builds a complete structured content system, generating blog posts and service pages, social media content, email campaigns, lead magnets and guides, all aligned with your expertise, your services, and the clients you want. Instead of guessing, you get a content plan that flows automatically across your website, social channels, and email lists, fully SEO optimized and trackable. How I'd use it as a criminal defense lawyer? The first thing I would do is defining the content focus. As a lawyer, I'd use 5 main directions. Services, directly tied to what clients hire you for. Each piece of content should ideally connect to a service funnel. For example, what to do if I was arrested for DUI. And this can help you to convert readers into clients. I would also use personal brand. Lawyers aren't products, they are experts. Building trust and authority online is critical. For example, would be thought leadership posts. Google, social media, and clients will recognize you as the go-to authority. Another content focus I would use would be asset to promote. This would be for evergreen content that generates leads over time. For example, guides, checklists, templates, or legal resources. This will multiply your marketing efforts passively. Another content focus I would use would be the Content Hub. This will organize your content into a visible ecosystem. For example, a blog section on your website. This will support SEO, authority building, and client education. And the last content focus I would use would be the offer. Useful if you have a specific consultation or service package you can promote. For example, a free initial consultation. Works best when combined with services and lead magnets. Once the content focus is clear, the next step is defining who sees what and when. For a lawyer, I'd use 4 main audience direction. Clients facing criminal charges. Those are people actively searching for legal help. Content here is bottom of funnel, focused on conversions. For example, service pages, blog posts linked to consultations, downloadable checklists. The goal is to guide them quickly from awareness to trust to booking a consultation. Another audience I would use is authority and trust seekers. Those are potential clients, peers, and journalists who are researching legal expertise. Content here is mid-funnel awareness, personal brand, thought leadership, or video insights. The goal here is to show credibility and experience, so that when they need a lawyer, your name is the one they remember. The other audience I would use is the legal resources seekers. Those are people looking for guidance before they hire a lawyer. Content here is top of funnel, educational, lead magnets, guides, checklists, or FAQs. The goal here would be to capture their interests, educate them, and gradually move them towards booking a consultation. And the other audience I would use is high-intent prospects. Those are individuals who have already engaged with content, downloaded assets, or interacted with your website or social media. Content here is conversion focused, free consultation offer, downloadable resources with follow-ups, or retargeting ads. The goal here would be to turn interest into action, securing client engagement efficiently. Content targeting ensures that every piece of content reaches the right person at the right stage. Some content educates, some content builds trust, some content converts, and when all four audience directions are working together, your legal content becomes a strategic, client-generating ecosystem rather than random posts. Content that promotes legal services. Some content should directly support your services. For example, DUI defense in London. Next Level Marketing AI helps structure those pieces so they naturally guide someone from information to booking a consultation. So a simple blog post becomes a client acquisition funnel. Next Level Marketing AI helps structure those pieces so they naturally guide someone from information to booking a consultation. So a single blog post becomes a client acquisition funnel. Content that builds your personal brand. But legal marketing isn't only about services. People hire lawyers they trust. So I publish content that shows my perspective as a defense attorney. The AI helps turn those ideas into articles, social media posts, or emails that build authority over time. And slowly, you stop looking like just another lawyer. You start looking like the lawyer people trust. Content as long-term legal asset. Some content should become permanent resources. Next level marketing AI helps structure those assets so they continue attracting clients long after they're published. This is how content becomes an asset, not just a post. Content that educates and builds authority. Some content should live in a central hub that organizes everything you publish. Over time, Google and clients start associating your name with reliable, comprehensive criminal defense guidance. Some content should be designed to get people to act immediately. Next Level Marketing AI helps map those offers to the right audience. And over time, your content doesn't just educate or build trust. It directly generates clients while reinforcing your authority and expertise. Social Media Visibility Engine. Content shouldn't live only on your website. It should also reach people where they already spent time. Next Level Marketing AI helps transform your legal insights into structured social media posts. Over time, your social media stops looking like occasionally updates and starts looking like a consistent stream of legal expertise. Which means when someone searches your name and sees your profile, they immediately recognize your authority. Not every potential client hires a lawyer immediately. Many people research first. They read articles, they download guides. Next Level Marketing AI helps transform that interest into structured email communication. educational emails can explain legal processes, share insights, or guide readers towards useful resources. Over time, this builds familiarity and trust, so when someone finally needs legal representation, they don't start searching again. They already know who to contact. How content becomes a client-generating system. Promote services. A blog post isn't just informative. It guides readers to learn more about your services. Builds personal brand. Expert tips and insights establish you as a lawyer people can trust. Creates long-term assets. Guides and checklists continue attracting clients long after publishing. Extends your reach. The same insights are shared through social media and email, keeping your expertise visible to both new audiences and existing contacts. Triggers action. Offers like free consultations are strategically placed to convert readers into clients. The result, your expertise becomes visible, discoverable, and trusted, not just on your website, but across search engines, social media platforms, and inboxes where potential clients are already looking for guidance. Strategic applications for a criminal defense practice. With the Next Level Marketing AI, you can structure service pages and blog posts, automate LinkedIn authority building content, generate guides, and so much more. Every piece reinforces authority, builds trust, and drives clients without you spending hours planning and writing. Professional control. Your expertise still leads. Next Level Marketing AI doesn't force lawyers into a full automated system. You can always add your own insights, adjust content, or publish articles based on real cases and courtroom experiences. So, using your content, Next Level Marketing AI will send it to your website. It will create social media posts according to your content, send it to Squally Social and then to your social media profiles. And it will also create an email based on your content, send it to Email Hero, and then to Inbox. The hidden layer of Next Level Marketing AI. The most powerful part isn't the content, it's the structured execution plan. Without a system, it's easy to get overwhelmed or fall behind. With Next Level Marketing AI, you get a constant stream of SEO-optimized articles that are already sent for auto-indexing, automatic posting to website, social media, and email. You have access to multi-channel integration, so your marketing works everywhere, which means you spend less time worrying about marketing and more time doing what you actually trained to do, practicing law. The reality is, the best lawyers don't always win the most cases, but the lawyers who communicate their expertise clearly win the most clients. Next Level Marketing AI doesn't replace legal thinking. It transforms your thinking into a structured strategy, turning knowledge into authority, content into leads, and time into impact. Your expertise shouldn't stay locked inside courtrooms. It becomes visible, discoverable, and trusted. Let's take a look at how a criminal defense lawyer would use ContentLook AI. If I were a lawyer, I wouldn't see my website as a marketing project. I'd see it as a reputation system. Because in criminal defense, people don't search for content. They search for someone they can trust with their freedom. And the fastest way to lose that trust is weak information, outdated pages, or answers that don't actually help. The real problem with lawyer websites. Most law firm websites grow slowly over time. A blog post here, a service page there, maybe an article explaining drink driving law, maybe another about police arrest procedures. But after a few years, the site becomes uneven. Some pages are strong, some are outdated, some barely answer the question. And the danger is subtle, because one weak page can quietly damage credibility. Not just for visitors, but with Google. So the step one will be finding the pages that hurt you. So the first thing to do is run a ContentLook AI audit. The system analyzes the entire website and evaluates the quality of every page. Not just keywords, not just rankings, but actual content performance. Which pages are thin, which pages fail to answer the search intent, which pages look outdated, which pages don't support my authority. And this is where something important appears, the 53-point audit prioritization. Instead of telling me to improve everything, ContentLook shows me exactly what matters first, the few pages that are holding the site back. So instead of redesigning my whole website, I focused on fixing pages that actually impact credibility. For a busy lawyer, that focus is extremely valuable. The game-changing feature, SKI. The feature that really changes how a legal website works is SKI, because instead of publishing articles and hoping visitors read them, I can turn my website into a legal assistant that answers questions instantly, 24 hours a day. Turning my website into a legal knowledge base. First, I crawl all the content on my website. My blog articles, my service pages, my legal guides, my FAQs. Then visitors can ask questions directly on the website. For example, what happens after a drink driving arrest? And we have received the answer over here. Or they could ask, can I challenge a traffic ticket? Or maybe even, how long does the criminal conviction stays on record? Instead of searching through multiple pages, the AI immediately generates an answer using my content, so the visitors get clarity instantly. And they stay on the website longer, which reinforces the idea that this is a place where legal knowledge lives. Expanding the knowledge with trusted sources, but legal questions sometimes involve recent changes in law or official procedures. That's where I can extend the AI's knowledge. ContentLook AI can also crawl trusted external sources, for example, government legislation portals, bar association publications, official court resources, trusted legal news outlets. So when someone asks something like, do I need a lawyer before police interview? The answer could be from official government guidance, as we can see over here. That builds trust. Strategic placement across the website. Another thing I like is that the AI search doesn't have to live only in one place. You can place it strategically across the website, depending on what you want the page to do. For example, you can place it across the entire site, where visitors can ask anything related to criminal law. But you can also place it on specific pages, and that opens some very interesting strategic possibilities. On a lead magnet landing page, for example, maybe a guide, the AI can immediately answer the follow-up questions the reader might have after reading the guide. On a service page, the AI can handle the questions people often hesitate to ask before calling a lawyer. And if someone reads an article, AI could answer questions related to that topic. So instead of visitors jumping around the website trying to find answers, the website starts guiding the conversation. It's almost like creating a specialized legal assistant for each section of the website. The hidden benefit, guided questions. There's another interesting way I would use this. Instead of waiting for visitors to type random questions, I can offer predefined questions that guide them through the most common legal concerns. Because when someone lands on a criminal defense website, they're stressed, they're unsure, and sometimes they're afraid of saying the wrong thing. So instead of leaving them with an empty search box, I can show questions like, what should I do after being arrested? Can I refuse a breath test? And so on. So instead of leaving them with an empty search box, I can show questions like, can the police search my car without a warrant? What should I do after being arrested? Will a first offense lead to a criminal record? Can I refuse a breath test? With one single click, the visitor gets a clear explanation. No guessing, no searching through multiple pages, so instead of the website just providing information, it quietly guides people through the first steps of understanding their legal situation. The part that actually matters, more consultations. But the real reason a lawyer would use this isn't technology, it's consultations. Because most legal websites lose potential clients for a very simple reason. Visitors arrive with questions and leave because they can't find answers fast enough. They open 3 tabs, compare 3 lawyers, and often the first one who responds clearly wins the case. Not the most experienced lawyer, the fastest one. The problem most law firms don't see. On many law firm websites, 2 things happen every day. Visitors leave because they can't find the exact answer they need, and staff spend hours answering the same questions over and over. Things like, what should I do after being arrested? Will a first offense lead to a criminal record? Or how do I book a consultation? So valuable time gets spent repeating answers instead of working on actual cases. The consultation assistant. This is where SKI becomes something much more powerful. Instead of a simple website widget, it becomes a consultation assistant. An AI assistant on your side that answers questions using your actual content. Not random internet answers, not guesses, only the information that already exists on your website. or sources you explicitly provide. So the system doesn't invent legal advice. It simply helps visitors find your knowledge instantly, which means lawyers don't have to worry about AI hallucinations or liability. The assistant is only explaining what you've already written. Turning questions into consultations. Now imagine someone visiting your site and asking, "How do I book a consultation?" The assistant can answer clearly, explain the process, and then guide the visitor directly to the next step. And suddenly, the website is no longer just explaining legal concepts. It's guiding potential clients towards speaking with you. The simple math. If the system helps you capture even one additional consultation per month, the numbers become obvious. For many lawyers, a single case can be worth thousands, which means if SKI brings even one extra client, it can pay for itself many times over. And the real impact is something simpler. Fewer visitors leaving the website confused, more people getting the clarity they need, and more of them becoming consultations. The SEO and authority effect. From an SEO perspective, something important happens too. Visitors interact with the website. They ask questions, they explore multiple pages, they stay longer. Those signals show Google that the website isn't just static content. It's an active knowledge resource. And in the legal SEO, authority signals matter more than almost anything else. If I were a criminal defense lawyer, I wouldn't let my website sit there like a digital brochure. I turn it into something much more powerful. A place where people can ask questions, understand their situation, and get clear, trustworthy answers. Because often the first thing someone needs after a legal problem isn't a consultation, it's clarity. And with Content through KI, your website becomes a 24-hour legal assistant, guiding visitors, answering questions, and quietly turning uncertainty into trust. Let's take a look at how a lawyer would use WordPress Ghost. Privilege is absolute. Your security should be too. In the world of UK criminal law, a website is more than a digital business card. It is a portal for sensitive communication. For a solicitor at a London firm, a data breach isn't just a technical failure. It's a breach of legal professional privilege and a direct violation of Solicitor Regulation Authority standards. Ghost mode, because visibility is a liability. WordPress Ghost mode hides the fact that your website runs on WordPress. That means default WordPress admin disappears, WordPress login PHP is renamed, common WordPress paths are hidden, automated scans hit dead ends. Most attacks are not personal, they are automated. Bots scanning thousands of sites looking for standard login URLs, known plugin paths, and predictable weakness. If your structure is invisible, you're no longer low-hanging fruit. For a defense lawyer dealing with organized crime, investigations, or politically exposed clients, invisibility matters. Brute force protection, because someone will try. Criminal law firms often have staff logins, paralegal access, case intake systems, client portal plugins, login attempts are constant. WordPress Ghost limits the login attempts, blocks repeatable failures, automatically locks suspicious IPs. No guessing, no repeated probing, no silent access attempts overnight. It's quiet protection, exactly what you want. Protecting client data, the non-negotiable layer. As a criminal defense lawyer, you may store arrest details, allegation summaries, witness information, or other sensitive data. One vulnerable form can lead to data exposure. So you can activate SQL injection protection, script protection, 8G firewall rules, and secure HTTP headers. This way you can protect your database, because one exploited vulnerability is one too many. Geo-blocking and IP control, strategic access only. If you practice primarily in the UK, why would you allow admin login attempts from everywhere? WordPress Ghost allows country-based restrictions, IP whitelisting, and IP blacklisting. That means my admin area can be limited to the UK. My developer gets temporarily control access, and suspicious regions can be blocked entirely. Access becomes intentional, not open. Two-factor authentication, because passwords are weak. In criminal defense, I assume if something can be targeted, it will be targeted. So you should activate two-factor authentication and reCAPTCHA on login. And this way, even if a password leaks, even if a phishing email works, even if credentials are used, access is still blocked. And that's peace of mind. Monitoring without becoming a cybersecurity expert. Your time is billable. Your focus is court strategy. WordPress Ghost provides security logs, suspicious activity monitoring, and alerts for unusual login behavior. So you don't need to install 5 separate tools, interpret server-level code, or hire a full-time security consultant. If something happens, you know early. Early detection equals prevention. Late detection equals crisis management. The hidden gem, security presets. This is the feature most firms underestimate, pre-configured security presets. Instead of tweaking dozens of advanced settings, researching firewall rules, risking misconfiguration, you activate the preset built for maximum hardening. Within minutes, your WordPress becomes invisible, entry points are sealed, core paths are protected, and bots are filtered. No developer required, no complexity, and no wasted hours. The criminal defense perspective. If you are defending clients against the full force of the state, your own digital presence cannot be the weak link. WordPress Ghost gives you invisibility with the Ghost mode, hardened authentication with two-factor authentication, and brute force protection. Database protection with SQL and script defense, control access, geo and IP management, intelligent monitoring, logs and alerts, and instant hardening with presets. It's not extra security, it's professional responsibility. In criminal defense, you prepare for worst-case scenarios. You don't wait for breaches, you prevent them. If you're a criminal defense lawyer in London, you wouldn't just hope your website is secure. You'd make it invisible, controlled, and hardened before anyone ever tries to break in.